Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here to review the new Matt Damon film Downsizing. And that's 2 hours of my life I'm not going to get back. Not a good start that, I suppose, is it? Right, okay, so Downsizing is advertised as a drama, comedy, sci-fi. Just reach in, get the comedy bit and take that out. Because this film isn't funny in any way, shape or form. Barely even raises a smile. What we get with this film basically is a fairly dull, humdrum film that has a really interesting concept, and I seem to say this a lot with some films. An interesting idea, interesting concept that they do absolutely nothing original with, and it's almost like having a nicely cooked meal with absolutely no taste or seasoning. Looks nice, acted nice, presented nice, and with this film you don't really get anything of substance or interest. What's the story about? Well, the clue's in the title, and I'm sure you've seen trailers or you've heard about this movie. Essentially, what this movie's about is at the beginning there's a massive scientific breakthrough, and scientists in Norway, I believe it is, discover how to shrink the human race down to 4 inches or 5 inches, and they think it's going to save the planet. It jumps forward, I think, is it 5 years? I think it's 5 years. And it's presented to the world. And as usual, the human species has commercialised it. And they've basically made it so that people, for example, if you had £100,000 in the bank now, if you downsize to 5 inches, that 100,000 then becomes something like 12.5 million. So it's a way for normal average folk to get rich quick by downsizing. And a lot of people are doing this. There's a place called Leisureland out in the desert somewhere. This whole massive complex city that's been built for people that have downsized, and it's living the life of luxury. And this all sounds really attractive to Matt Damon and his wife, who's played by Kristen Wiig. They decide to go ahead with this procedure, and when he wakes up from having the procedure, Matt Damon, he discovers, and this isn't a spoiler because you do see it in the trailer, he discovers that his wife Kristen Wiig backed out at the last minute, and he's been downsized on himself, and she's abandoned him. She couldn't do it, so he's left on his own, and therefore he loses everything while he's downsizing in Leisureland, and he has to have like a cheap apartment and a normal everyday sales job in this Leisureland. And then he meets Christopher Waltz's character, who's his neighbour, who's got like his penthouse flat, who's always partying, and his cleaner, who's a Vietnamese lady who was tortured some years back and downsized under protest in Vietnam and put in jail, etc. And she has like a leg missing, and he used to be an occupational therapist, so he decides he's going to help her get this leg sorted and fixed, and basically they become joined at the hip, and he starts helping her, and he realises there's a whole, even when people are downsized, you get the rich and the poor separation. And then he goes on some find myself trip to Norway with her and Christopher Waltz and a few others, and that's it. I really, really struggled to make that sound interesting, and I'm sure I didn't, because it isn't interesting. That's the main problem with this film, it's bland, it's not interesting. They do nothing with this movie. It's not funny, and there was great opportunities for some laughs in this movie. You know what I mean? Miniaturising humans. You could have had some laughs for this. If this had been something like a Will Ferrell movie or something, my God, they'd have had laughs. Probably too much, but this could have been like The Truman Show. The Truman Show was a fantastic movie. Jim Carrey was amazing in it. It had a great message in it, but it was funny too. And so there's no comedy to be had in this movie. I didn't find any. I didn't find it funny. All we got really was the simple, same old message: we're killing the planet, etc., etc. All doom and gloom, and the usual, finding yourself lovey-dovey business. this could have been so much more. It really, really could. Such a missed opportunity, I think. It's not one of those films you're going to watch and instantly hate. There's not really anything to hate, but there's not really anything to like either. It's bang on, middle of the road. It was like that Passengers movie, that sci-fi movie I saw with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. No wrong with it, just bland as like anything, bland as hell. And this is the same, bland as hell. Not an awful lot to attract you into this movie. And just be warned, really, when you're watching it, that this film is just a little bit dull, guys. I'm sorry to say. Yeah. So I have to say, I'm really, really disappointed with this film. I was looking forward to it. I thought it was going to be so much funnier than it actually was. All the best bits are in the trailer in regards to the fun aspects of this movie. It's an interesting concept that's stretched out into a dull, bland, boring story of a movie that gives us nothing original at all, which is a shame.